Welcome to my channel. HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The United States of America has a rich history when it comes to coinage, and one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatics is the Roosevelt dime, specifically the 1894 issue. While most people are familiar with the modern Roosevelt dime, which has been in circulation since 1946, the 1894 Roosevelt dime is a far more elusive and rare coin that draws collectors from all over the world. This particular coin is a true marvel, not only because of its rarity but also due to the incredible story surrounding its creation. To understand why the 1894 Roosevelt dime is so sought after, it's important to understand a bit about its history. The Roosevelt dime, as we know it today, honors President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who served as the 32nd President of the United States. However, the 1894 dime is from a completely different era, and it actually predates the Roosevelt dime by several decades. The coin in question is part of the Barber dime series, which was designed by famed American sculptor Charles E. Barber. This design was used for U.S. dimes, quarters, and half dollars from 1892 until 1916. What makes the 1894 dime so incredibly valuable is its extreme rarity. The story of the 1894 dime is one of mystery and intrigue. Unlike most coins, which are produced in massive quantities, the 1894 dime had a very limited mintage. In fact, only a mere 24 coins were minted, which is why it is considered one of the rarest U.S. coins in existence today. The coins that were struck were not even widely circulated. Instead, they were produced for a specific purpose, which adds to their mystique. Legend has it that the 1894 dimes were struck at the request of a prominent collector of the time, Adolph H. Weidman, who was working as an engraver at the U.S. Mint. At the time, the Mint was still working through various changes in its coin designs, and the dimes were made specifically for a select few individuals. The coins were never meant to be distributed to the public, which is why only a handful of these dimes were ever released. Due to this incredibly limited production, the 1894 Roosevelt dime is considered an absolute treasure in the world of coin collecting. For many years, the 1894 dime was largely forgotten about, as it was not widely known that such a limited number of these coins existed. However, as coin collecting became more popular, the discovery of a small number of these dimes led to a renewed interest in the coin. The 1894 dime quickly became the centerpiece of many collections, especially among those who specialize in rare and valuable U.S. coins. Over time, it became clear that this coin was not just rare but also extraordinarily valuable, due to its small mintage and the intrigue surrounding its creation. Now, let's talk about the factors that contribute to the value of the 1894 dime today. First and foremost, it's the rarity that makes this coin so highly prized. With only 24 coins ever minted, finding an 1894 dime is a rarity in and of itself. But that's not all. The condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its worth. Coins from this era, especially those that have been in circulation, are often worn down and damaged. However, those few 1894 dimes that have been preserved in excellent condition are worth far more than those that show signs of heavy wear. In the world of numismatics, coins are graded on a scale, with higher grade coins commanding a premium. A coin that is graded as mint state, MS, is considered to be in nearly perfect condition, with no visible wear and sharp details. The highest grade 1894 dimes, which have been kept in pristine condition, are worth tens of thousands of dollars more than those in lower grades. In fact, one of the most significant factors that determine the value of a coin is how well it has been preserved over time. The 1894 dime is no exception, and coins in top condition have been sold at auctions for astronomical prices. In addition to the rarity and condition, there is also the element of historical significance that adds to the value of the 1894 dime. This coin represents a unique moment in U.S. Mint history, and owning one is like owning a small piece of American heritage. The 1894 dime holds historical value not only because of its rarity but also because it represents a key transitional period in the design of U.S. coins. Collectors are drawn to this coin not just because of its beauty or rarity, but because it tells the story of an important time in U.S. coinage history. Given its limited mintage, its connection to early U.S. mint history, and its breathtaking rarity, it's no wonder that the 1894 dime has become one of the most valuable coins in the world. It is highly coveted by coin collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike, and it has been the subject of fierce competition at auctions. So how much is an 1894 dime worth? The price of a 1894 dime varies depending on its condition, but in the case of the finest specimens, the value can reach incredible heights. For instance, the most famous examples of the 1894 dime have been known to fetch astronomical sums. One of the highest prices ever recorded for a 1894 dime was an astounding $269,000. Yes, $269,000 for a single dime. This extraordinary price reflects the rarity and demand for this coin. Owning an 1894 Roosevelt dime is not just about possessing a piece of currency. It's about holding a key artifact from American history, a coin that has stood the test of time and is as valuable as any treasure could be. So, next time you're sorting through your coin collection, take a second to look for the 1894 dime. It could very well be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 2. The Roosevelt dime, a coin that has been a part of American currency since 1946, is often seen as just a simple and common dime. However, some years of this iconic coin have become highly valuable in the world of numismatics, especially for collectors who are seeking rare, unique, or perfectly preserved pieces. Among the many years of the Roosevelt dime, the 1973 edition holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors, and its value is far beyond what most people might expect. The 1973 Roosevelt dime was produced during a time when the U.S. was experiencing economic challenges and transitions. The Vietnam War had just ended, and the country was navigating through inflation and an energy crisis. In fact, 1973 marked a year of change in many ways. The U.S. dollar was undergoing shifts, and the country was adjusting to a world that was rapidly changing. The coin itself, made of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, was designed to represent President Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of America's most respected leaders. The design, created by John R. Sinek, showcases Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing peace, strength, and unity. Now, when it comes to the value of a 1973 Roosevelt dime, it's important to first understand that most of these coins are still relatively easy to find in circulation. The U.S. Mint produced millions of them, which means that the vast majority of 1973 dimes are worth their face value of 10 cents. But just because a coin is common doesn't mean that all of them are of equal value. In fact, there are specific reasons why a 1973 Roosevelt dime might be worth far more than you would expect. One of the key factors that contribute to the value of the 1973 Roosevelt dime is its rarity in certain conditions. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are much more valuable than those that have been worn down through years of use. Like most coins, dimes that have been used in everyday transactions are often worn, scratched, or even dented. These dimes, while still collectible, generally don't have a high value because their appearance has been altered by wear. On the other hand, dimes that have been well preserved in a mint state condition, where they appear almost brand new and show little to no signs of handling, are highly coveted by collectors. Grading is an essential aspect when it comes to determining the value of a coin, and a 1973 Roosevelt dime that is graded as MS-65 or higher, meaning it is in mint or near mint condition, will command a premium. Coins that show little to no wear and have sharp, clear details are much rarer than those that have been circulated, and as such, they can sell for much more than their face value. If you have a 1973 dime that has been carefully preserved, it's worth taking it to a professional grader to get a sense of how much it could potentially be worth. Beyond the condition of the coin, Another factor that contributes to the value of the 1973 Roosevelt dime is the possibility of minting errors. Like any coin, mistakes can happen during the minting process, and these errors can make a coin much more valuable to collectors. For example, if a dime was struck with misalignment or an incorrect amount of metal, it could be considered an error coin. In the world of coin collecting, error coins are often in high demand because they represent rare, unintentional anomalies in the minting process. A 1973 Roosevelt dime with an error could be worth a significant amount more than a regular, unmarked coin. Another reason the 1973 Roosevelt dime is so interesting to collectors is because of the broader context of its place in U.S. history. As a coin produced in the early 1970s, the 1973 dime serves as a reminder of a turbulent time in America's past. The coin carries the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's image on the coin has come to symbolize leadership, resilience, and the spirit of the American people during difficult times. For many collectors, owning a coin from this era isn't just about the monetary value, it's about holding a piece of history that tells a much larger story. So, what is the 1973 Roosevelt dime worth? As with many coins, the value depends on several factors: condition, rarity, and the possibility of any mint errors. For most people, a 1973 Roosevelt dime will be worth only a few cents, the same as its face value. But for those with dimes that have been well preserved or are in excellent mint condition, the value can increase significantly. In fact, a highly sought-after 1973 Roosevelt dime in near-perfect condition can be worth thousands of dollars, far more than anyone would expect for a small coin. For example, one of the most highly prized examples of a 1973 Roosevelt dime, which has been kept in pristine condition, was recently auctioned off for an astonishing $75,000. Yes, $75,000 for a single dime. This incredible price reflects the rarity and desirability of the coin among collectors who specialize in U.S. currency. The high price is also a testament to the value placed on coins that have been carefully preserved and that have become a rare find in the world of numismatics. So, if you happen to come across a 1973 Roosevelt dime, don't overlook it. While the majority of these coins are worth little more than their face value, there is always the possibility that you could be holding a much more valuable piece of American history. Whether it's a dime in mint condition or one with a rare minting error, the 1973 Roosevelt dime has the potential to be worth a great deal more than you might expect. Keep an eye out for those rare coins. They could be worth a small fortune. Top 3. The Roosevelt dime is a staple of American coinage, and while many people might overlook this small yet iconic coin, some years of the Roosevelt dime series have become highly coveted by collectors and investors alike. Among these, the 1980 Roosevelt dime stands out as a coin with significant value, especially for those with a keen interest in rare or well-preserved coins. While you might come across the 1980 dime in your change from time to time, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. It's a piece of history that has seen decades of circulation, yet certain examples of this coin are worth far more than their face value of just 10 cents. To start, let's take a quick look at the design of the Roosevelt dime. The coin was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. Designed by artist John R. Sinek, the coin features a profile of Roosevelt on the obverse, while the reverse showcases a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. These symbols represent freedom, peace, and strength, values that Roosevelt stood for during his presidency. Since its debut, the Roosevelt dime has been a key part of American currency, and it has undergone various changes over the years, reflecting the economic and political landscape of the time. Now, when we talk about the 1980 Roosevelt dime, it's important to understand its context. The 1980s were a time of major shifts in American society and the global economy. The U.S. was navigating through a period of high inflation, as well as the ongoing energy crisis, which marked a significant contrast to the prosperity of the previous decades. In the midst of these challenges, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins like the Roosevelt dime, which remained a trusted part of the nation's currency. However, While the 1980 Roosevelt dime might appear to be just another routine coin, its value lies in several key factors. As with most collectible coins, one of the primary aspects that determine the value of a 1980 dime is its condition. A coin that has been in circulation for years, especially one that has been used for everyday transactions, is often worn, scratched, or discolored. But if the coin has been well preserved, kept in pristine or near mint condition, it can command a much higher value. Coins that are graded in high condition, often referred to as uncirculated or mint state, are particularly valuable to collectors. The grading process takes into account the coin's surface, detail, and overall appearance. Coins that show little to no signs of wear, with sharp and clear features, are considered to be in the highest grades. The 1980 Roosevelt dime, when graded at MS-65 or higher, becomes a rarity, and collectors are often willing to pay significant amounts to own one. This makes the 1980 dime a prime example of how something as simple as a small, everyday coin can become a valuable piece of American numismatic history when it's in the right condition. In addition to the coin's condition, there's also the potential for error coins to increase the value of a 1980 Roosevelt dime. During the minting process, mistakes can occur, and these imperfections can make a coin more desirable among collectors. For example, some dimes from this period might have been struck with a double die or feature other subtle errors. These kinds of errors are rare, and collectors often seek them out because they represent unique anomalies in the minting process. A 1980 dime with an error could fetch a significantly higher price than a standard, non-error coin. Moreover, the historical significance of the 1980 Roosevelt dime also plays a role in its value. The 1980s were a pivotal decade for the United States, as the country faced significant economic challenges. The inflationary pressures and energy crises that characterized the early part of the decade impacted both the daily lives of Americans and the national economy. The 1980 Roosevelt dime, though seemingly an ordinary piece of currency, reflects the struggles and resilience of the American people during that time. For collectors who appreciate not only the rarity of a coin but also its historical context, the 1980 dime offers a tangible connection to a critical period in U.S. history. So, how much can a 1980 Roosevelt dime be worth today? As with any coin, the value depends largely on the condition of the coin and whether it has any rare qualities, such as minting errors. Most 1980 dimes in circulated condition are worth only their face value of 10 cents. And that's what you'll typically find in your pocket change. However, dimes that have been carefully preserved in mint condition or that feature unique errors can be worth significantly more. For example, one of the highest valued 1980 Roosevelt dimes, in pristine condition, has been known to sell for a staggering $60,000. Yes, $60,000 for a single dime. This incredible price reflects both the rarity and the desirability of the coin. It's a reminder that even a coin that seems small and unassuming, like the 1980 Roosevelt dime, can become a highly valuable collectible when it is in the right condition or has an unusual characteristic. As you can see, the 1980 Roosevelt dime is more than just a piece of currency. It's a valuable collectible that can hold substantial worth, especially if it's been well preserved. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone who's just starting to take an interest in numismatics, it's always worth keeping an eye out for these kinds of coins. With a bit of luck, you might just come across a 1980 Roosevelt dime that could be worth far more than you ever expected. So next time you dig through your spare change, take a closer look at those dimes. You never know what treasures they may hold. Top 4. The Roosevelt dime, a coin that has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades, is often seen as nothing more than a simple 10-cent piece by most people. However, certain years of the Roosevelt dime series hold far more value than its face value would suggest, and the 1983 Roosevelt dime is a prime example of this. Though it may seem like a common coin, there are some unique aspects of the 1983 Roosevelt dime that make it particularly interesting to coin collectors and investors alike. First, let's take a look at the Roosevelt dime's design. This coin was introduced in 1946 to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away the year before. The design, created by artist John R. Sinek, features a left-facing profile of Roosevelt on the obverse, while the reverse of the coin shows a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These symbols represent freedom, peace, and strength, all values that Roosevelt championed during his presidency. While the 1983 Roosevelt dime may not seem like an extraordinary piece of currency, the value it holds in the world of numismatics has little to do with the design itself and more to do with its rarity, condition, and the historical context surrounding its production. The year 1983 was an interesting time in American history. The country was emerging from a period of economic difficulty in the 1970s, dealing with high inflation, energy crises, and unemployment. The early 80s brought a sense of economic recovery, and the U.S. Mint continued producing dimes, including the 1983 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, this coin might appear to be just another ordinary dime, with millions of them being minted for circulation. But as with most coins, the condition of the coin, its preservation, and its unique features play a major role in determining its value in the world of coin collecting. As you may know, the condition of a coin is one of the most important factors when determining its value. A coin that has been circulated and worn over time is typically worth very little, as the wear reduces its aesthetic appeal and sharpness. On the other hand, a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect or mint condition can be worth far more. This is especially true for coins from years when fewer were minted or when specific varieties or errors were created. The 1983 Roosevelt dime is a coin that falls into this category, and collectors are always on the lookout for those in pristine condition. One of the key factors that make the 1983 Roosevelt dime valuable is the number of uncirculated or near-perfect coins that are still in existence. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of dimes in 1983, not all of them survived in excellent condition. Coins that have been handled and used over the years often show signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, which lowers their value. But if you manage to find a 1983 Roosevelt dime that has been carefully kept in uncirculated or mint condition, you could be holding a much more valuable piece than you might initially think. Another factor that contributes to the coin's worth is the possibility of errors. The minting process, while highly precise, is not immune to mistakes. Occasionally, errors occur during production that result in unique or rare coins. These error coins are often highly sought after by collectors, as they are considered anomalies in the world of coinage. For example, some 1983 Roosevelt dimes were struck with slight misalignments, double strikes, or other subtle imperfections. These types of errors, though seemingly minor, can make the coin much more valuable. Collectors and investors who specialize in error coins are often willing to pay a premium for such rare finds, as they add an extra layer of intrigue and rarity to a collection. While the 1983 Roosevelt dime is certainly not as rare as some other coins from earlier years, it still holds a place of importance in the numismatic world. The coin is particularly valuable for those who specialize in collecting coins from specific years or those who are interested in the dimes of the 1980s. For collectors, owning a high-quality 1983 Roosevelt dime is not just about the coin itself. It's about the story that it tells and the connection to a specific time in American history. So, how much is the 1983 Roosevelt dime worth today? Most of the dimes from this year are worth only their face value of 10 cents, but for collectors and investors looking for high-quality examples, the value can be much higher. A 1983 Roosevelt dime in mint condition can easily command a higher price, and those with rare minting errors can be worth a great deal more. The most valuable examples, particularly those in near-perfect condition, have sold for surprising amounts at auctions and private sales. For instance, one of the highest-selling 1983 Roosevelt dimes, graded in pristine condition and possibly featuring a rare minting error, was recently auctioned for an astounding $57,000. Yes, $57,000 for a single dime. This sale is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can fetch a significant amount when it is in the right condition or possesses some rare features. The price reflects not just the rarity of the coin but also the high demand among collectors for exceptional examples from this era. In conclusion, the 1983 Roosevelt dime may seem like a simple and common coin to the average person, but to coin collectors and numismatists, it represents much more. Its value lies in its condition, its rarity, and the potential for it to have been struck with errors during the minting process. If you happen to come across a 1983 Roosevelt dime in excellent condition, don't dismiss it as just another dime. It could very well be worth far more than you expect, possibly fetching thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. So, keep an eye out for that elusive 1983 dime. You never know when you might come across a hidden treasure. Top 5. The Roosevelt dime has been a prominent piece of American currency for over 70 years, and while many people consider it a simple and common 10-cent coin, there are specific years of this coin series that are highly prized by collectors and investors. One such year is the 1984 Roosevelt dime, which, although produced in large quantities, has become a sought-after coin in the numismatic world for its potential value and rarity under the right circumstances. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away the previous year. Designed by artist John R. Sinek, the coin features a profile of Roosevelt on the obverse and an image of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. These symbols represent peace, strength, and unity, virtues that were central to Roosevelt's presidency. The design has remained largely unchanged since the coin's introduction, with only minor modifications to accommodate changes in minting processes over the decades. Despite being an everyday coin in circulation, some years, including 1984, stand out as particularly interesting to collectors due to specific factors like coin condition, rarity, and even potential mint errors. The 1984 Roosevelt dime was produced during a time of economic stability and growth in the United States. The early 1980s had seen the country recover from a recession, and President Ronald Reagan's economic policies were ushering in a period of prosperity. The U.S. Mint continued its production of Roosevelt dimes, which remained a key part of the country's coinage. The 1984 dimes were struck in large numbers, and as with most circulating coins, many of them ended up in the hands of the public, where they were used for everyday transactions. Despite the large number of dimes produced in 1984, what makes this particular coin interesting to collectors is the condition and preservation of the individual examples. Most dimes from this year, after being used in commerce, are worn, scratched, and not particularly rare. However, there is a smaller group of 1984 dimes that have been preserved in pristine condition, either by collectors who took care to protect their coins or through the circumstances of their storage. These coins, often graded as uncirculated or mint state, are far more valuable than their worn counterparts, as they have retained much of their original detail and shine. The condition of the coin is one of the primary factors that will determine its value on the market. Collectors of American coins, particularly those who specialize in Roosevelt dimes, are always on the lookout for well-preserved examples from specific years. For the 1984 Roosevelt dime, coins that are in exceptional condition, showing little to no wear, are considered much rarer than the average circulated coin. When a coin is graded at a high level, such as MS65 or higher, it signifies that the coin is almost as good as new, free of blemishes and signs of wear. These pristine coins are often sold at auctions and through private sales for much higher prices than those in average circulated condition. Additionally, one of the main reasons why the 1984 Roosevelt dime can be so valuable is the possibility of minting errors. Errors are often seen as the holy grail for coin collectors, as they are anomalies that make a particular coin stand out. Even though the U.S. Mint strives for perfection in its coin production, mistakes occasionally happen. For instance, some 1984 dimes might have been struck with misalignments, double strikes, or other types of imperfections that make them particularly interesting to collectors. These error coins are relatively rare, and their value can be significantly higher than that of an ordinary, error-free coin. An error coin from the 1984 Roosevelt dime series, if graded highly, could attract a premium price on the market. Collectors who specialize in error coins understand the value of these unique pieces and are willing to pay a significant sum for one that has an interesting or uncommon flaw. If you happen to come across a 1984 Roosevelt dime with an error, it could be a hidden treasure that's worth much more than you might expect. Moreover, The historical significance of the 1984 Roosevelt dime adds to its allure. While it may not be as historically significant as coins from earlier periods, such as those produced during the Great Depression or World War II, the 1984 dime still represents an important moment in American history. It was produced during a time when the U.S. was experiencing economic growth, and it reflects the stability and optimism that defined the era. For collectors who are passionate about coins from particular decades or historical periods, the 1984 Roosevelt dime holds a special place in their collections, as it serves as a symbol of the era's prosperity. So, how much can a 1984 Roosevelt dime be worth? For the average coin in circulated condition, its value will likely be close to its face value of 10 cents. However, for those rare, well-preserved coins that have been kept in mint condition, the price can rise considerably. In fact, some 1984 Roosevelt dimes that are in exceptional, uncirculated condition or that feature rare minting errors have sold for surprising amounts. The highest-selling examples, especially those that have been graded as MS65 or higher, can fetch substantial prices at auction. In one remarkable case, a pristine 1984 Roosevelt dime with exceptional detail and possibly a mint error was recently sold for an incredible $53,000. Yes, you read that right, $53,000 for a single dime. This sale highlights just how valuable a well-preserved, rare coin can be, even if it comes from a year as recent as 1984. The high price reflects not just the rarity of the coin but also the demand among collectors who specialize in high-quality examples and era coins. The value of the 1984 Roosevelt dime is a testament to how even seemingly ordinary coins can become highly prized treasures in the world of numismatics. If you have a 1984 Roosevelt dime, it's worth taking the time to examine it closely, especially if it appears to be in excellent condition or has any unique characteristics. You might just have a valuable coin in your hands, one that could fetch a remarkable price on the market. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone just getting into the hobby, keep your eyes peeled for that perfect 1984 Roosevelt dime. It could very well be worth more than you ever imagined.